Islam has experienced a revival in the world. And somebody said to me that it's reacting to the belief that Christianity is, number one, perceived as a colonizer, number two, Western, and three, materialistic. And because there has been this revival, fundamentalist groups, and when I say that I'm talking the militancy that we experience, are taking advantage of this. Is this the case? Because the groups that are using violence seem to be tolerated and left to do those deeds, even though people like you will not agree with it, but they seem to be left alone.
They are being left alone everywhere. These guys in America, the wackos and the Reverend Jim Jones and the Ferguson fellow and the guy in Oklahoma bombing, what are you doing to them? They are there. You know they are there, walking in your midst. What are you doing to them? Nothing. The guy who's coming and knocking at your door, every born-again Christian is knocking at the Catholic's door. He's knocking at the Muslim's door. He's knocking at the Hindu's door. He's possessed with a spirit. He wants to change the world. What are we doing with them? We tolerate them. Don't we? We don't say, now the guy comes and knocks at my door, I kill him. No. Come, sit down. I would say, come, sit down. What have you got?
But the men knocking at the doors aren't using violent purposes, means to
No. But now, that same militancy with that other guy is using, maybe he's put into a situation where you are not giving him the chance to talk. Like in South Africa. You see, it was supposed to be a democratic country for 300 years. Democracy of the white man. It's the white man who voted the white man into power. 80% of the people had no vote. And the political parties were banned. So what do? I blame Mandela now for spending 27 years in prison. No, I said the only thing he knew that he could do to change the system was what they were doing. So I sympathize with them. Though I'm not for violence. I said, what can I do? What do I do with them? I start fighting them. They say, no, they want to free me from the shackles of apartheid. Now what do? I don't know. What do you expect me to do? Do I start sniffing them out and going telling the government, say, look, the guys are there in the Maputo border? What do I do? So in other words, you see that enthusiasm is there, and maybe it's a reaction, and this is the nature of things. God Almighty works in a mysterious way. You see, if the Christians didn't come and knock at our door, we might not have awoken up to what we are doing now. Do you know that? It's the Christian who woke us up. As a young man when I left school, I worked at Adams Mission Station, outside Amazimtoti. Adams Mission Station, Adams College, built by an American for Africans. Across the valley from this institution was the shop where I was working. And the missionaries, what the training that they were getting, were experimenting all what they learned on the people working in the shop, all the young men who just left school, cheap labor. So they come along into the shop to buy bread, rice, sugar, flour, and at the same time they say, Muhammad had so many wives. So I know nothing about that. I knew nothing about that. He says, Muhammad, he copied his book, the Quran, from the Jews and the Christians. I know nothing about that. He says, Muhammad spread his religion at the point of the sword. He forced people to accept Islam. So if you don't accept Islam, you chop off your head. I know nothing about that. And none of the guys working with me knew anything about what these guys are talking. These missionaries. They're making life miserable for us. Attacking us. We are minding our own business. We want to sell sugar and salt, flour and rice. They want to talk about religion. Whatever training they get, they're experimenting on us. So they prodded me. I'm a type of person. By nature, God made me so. That now I want to find an answer. And I found an answer in a worm-eaten book. And that changed my life. That worm-eaten book. And now I write books as a result of what I had read in that worm-eaten book. 250,000. I've reached 250,000 of this. 250,000 of this. For my community, it's a stupendous figure. Yeah, continuation, volume 2. Volume 3, I'm writing at home now. I have written, millions of pamphlets have been distributed. That one I showed you about His Holiness the Pope. I did 250,000 of that, this pamphlet, 250,000 in Arabic and in English. So, in other words, it's working, but it is all as a result, is a reaction to what was being done to me. And today, on each and every Muslim home, a Christian missionary goes and knocks it. I've been asking people questions in public meetings. I said, is there a Muslim here whose door has not been knocked by a Christian yet? Please put up your hand. In the first meeting I asked this question, not one. But then maybe they don't understand my English. So I repeat the question. I say, is there a Muslim here whose door has not been knocked by a Christian yet? Please put up your hand. Not one. Next one. Gathering. Not one. Next one. Not one. Out of 5, one guy put up his hand. So I passed it as a joke. I said, you see, this man must be living in an ivory tower or somewhere in the basement somewhere, that somehow the Christian escaped him. It was a joke. Again, another series of meetings, another 5, another guy also. One guy put up his hand that nobody has come and knocked at his door. Again, it's like a joke. If everybody everywhere says somebody has been knocking at your door, and here this guy, nobody, again the same type of remark. I said, you know, he must be living in an ivory tower, this man. But at question time, that man comes forward and he says, you see, when the Jehovah's Witnesses, then they visited me at home, then everybody laughed. So this is the guy who said nobody had knocked at his door. When he said the Jehovah's Witnesses, then they came to him. So this is what it is. In other words now, the Christian is waking us up. You want our children. You want to convert them. To us, this is the highest crime. This is apostasy. See, it is the highest crime. That means now, from the worship of the one true God, you're going to take away my child to go and worship Jesus Christ, a human being like myself, a great man, a mighty messenger of God. But he says, no, he's not a God himself. He's to be worshipped. He says, now, that's my child will do. And as such, we believe he'll go to hell, and his children will go to hell. He is more dangerous. That missionary is more dangerous to me and my people than the Russians in Afghanistan, or the Jews in Palestine, or the Russians in Chechnya, or the Bosnians, there's the Serbs in Bosnia. The guy who steals my faith is more dangerous from the Islamic point of view than the guy who takes my life. Because if he takes my life, I'll go to heaven. The Afghanistan people, if they die at the hands of the Russian, we believe they'll go to heaven. If the Jews kill the Palestinian, I said the Muslim will go to heaven. You see, if the Serbs kill the Muslim, I said they'll go to heaven. If the Russians kill the Chechens, I said they will go to heaven. But you taking my child, my child will go to hell. So you are more dangerous. Stealing my faith is more dangerous to me than stealing my life.
Is it dangerous enough to use force against?
No. We talk. Let us talk. And we believe in talking. We have been talking. For the past 40 years I've been talking. City Hall of Durban, Johannesburg, Cape Town. I'm talking. And do believe me, in 40 years, not a single person has thrown a rotten tomato at me or a rotten egg. Do you know that? And the most sensitive topics, most controversial topics, was Christ crucified? 1,200 million Christians say yes, 1,000 million Muslims say no. Where lies the truth? You be the judge. And no incidents. No incidents. One meeting, same topic, between Dumini Papers of the Dutch Reformed Church and myself at the Green Point, like 30,000 people gathered to listen to both sides. And no incident. Look, in other words, we are mature enough to listen to each other's points of views and make up our minds. This is what we want, which Islam expects. Then if you gag me, then I have a right to fight. Then I have to find ways and means to topple the government, even physically, even with guns and grenades. But if you give me religious freedom, give me a chance to talk, that's all. Give me opportunity to talk. Don't gag me. Because when you gag me, I might explode. Don't gag me. And we give you the same opportunity. We don't want to gag you. Talk to us. Reason with us and we will reason with you. And by that process, if we reach a conclusion that Islam is the way, which we believe it is, then let's be one in this fellowship of faith.